Rango sits, sits, Rango sits. Muy bien, nada. Rango no, no, Rango. Rango sit, no, Rango, Rango no. Sits, sits. Muy bien, nada. Acid bruise. Lucy, muy bien. Jerry, can you sit? You don't know how to sit, do you? Okay, vamos. Good morning. With the crazy dogs again. So I've been giving a lot of thought lately to lots of stuff actually. Things like law of attraction, things like creating your own reality. Things like justice, karma. I've been giving a lot of thought to that. I think I'm onto something actually. Actually, I think this has all been talked about before, but it's been forgotten. Let's start with creating your own reality. It's quite clear you do. Look at your life, look at everything you do, look at everything in your life. You created that. Now, it could be in different ways. Oh, what's going on? Let's see if my camera can find me. Still getting used to this camera. Hello, I'm here. Don't you see me? Hello? Yeah. There you go. Kind of slow. There you go. Yeah, pedals, yeah. Well, I don't know if it's working or what. Still getting used to this DJI Osmo thing. Yeah, it's working. It's just kind of slow. It's supposed to be faster than this. I still haven't figured it out. Anyway, you obviously create your own reality. Wait. Hello. Yeah, Jetty, yeah. I guess I can't use HDR mode when I'm using this thing because you can't see me when I'm in the shade. Unless I put it the right direction. Here we go. Alright, sorry about that. Jetty, yeah! Jetty! I gotta grab Jerry. He's going crazy. Jetty! Loco! It's loco. It's loco, Jerry. Jerry, yeah. Everyone knows Jerry's the crazy one. And everyone loves Lucy. Actually, I'll get to why later. It actually ties into what I'm talking about today. And it's hard with this lighting. I don't know where I can put this camera. That's okay. Alright. So, you obviously create your own reality. Everything, all the people in your life, they're in your life because of something you did, right? If it's your kids, then it's pretty obvious why they're there. It's something to do with what you did. Friends obviously gravitated towards you for some reason, and you gravitated towards them for some reason, right? So you basically create your own reality. Now, some people might bring up someone who's in a jail cell his whole life and how he didn't create his own reality or something. Yeah, I'm not sure. I've never been that person though. See, you have to just take what your own experience is, because you know, a lot of that could be just, you know, what is real, right? Yeah, maybe there is a guy in a jail cell his entire life from the moment he was born, and maybe he didn't create his own reality, or maybe he did in a past life, or maybe that's not even really all that real. You know, if I haven't seen it with my own eyes, right? There's lots of things you hear about. We know that from fake news already, right? Most things that most people believe aren't even real. A lot of people think 9/11 was done by some guys in caves. A lot of people think they went to the moon 50 years ago. You know, most things most people believe aren't even real. So, you have to keep that in mind. But I think there's definitely something to it. We create our own reality to some extent. And And so yeah, if you've got things in your life you don't like, change it. You can. Anything is possible. And most people don't realize that. They don't realize the amount of power they have in their own experience. And even just getting control of your mind, like I've been talking about a lot lately. You can go from, you know, this walk, I've talked about this before, this walk I did before, it used to be hard. It used to be something I didn't look forward to. It used to be difficult getting out of bed in the morning. It used to seem like, you know, I'd feel like very uncomfortable walking. That hill would have been, I'd be like, oh, that feels so crappy. Well, now it feels great. What changed? Well, a few things changed. I detoxified myself quite a bit, so now a lot of this stuff feels better. That's also changing my reality, right? But I also, my mindset has changed. And like I said on this last trip, if you told me I had to go to Vegas, not drink, not smoke, not go to strip clubs, not go to bars, I would have said that'd be the worst thing ever. And now it's the best thing ever. And what happened? My mindset changed. I got rid of the brainwashing on the smoking and the drinking. And even on ways of dealing with my own sexuality and sex drive and things like that. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right. Rango sits. Lucy. Lucy. Buenos dias. My dogs are so stupid. They don't even notice the car. They just walk right in front of it. They're so cute. But they're you know what? They have their own little reality there, right? So if my dogs had a phobia of cars or something, that would have been a traumatic situation. My dogs obviously don't have a phobia of cars. So in fact, that car barely even existed in their reality. They barely even knew it was there, right? And that could happen with everything. So whatever it is, whatever things in your reality that you don't like, you can get rid of it. Easy. It could be anything. It could even be things like the government. Like I basically live like it doesn't exist, and it pretty much doesn't exist for me. You know, even when I deal with cops or whatever every now and then, I pretty much tell them, well, I don't even give them any attention. It's like, I'm sort of like my dogs with that car. I'm like, you're not even there. Because they aren't. They really aren't there. I'm like, whatever this guy's trying to do, that's not my reality. This guy has no authority over me, that's for damn sure. And they can kind of see that, and if they do get a little aggressive and they go, hey, you stop or whatever, and then they'll go, do you understand? Which actually they say on purpose. They're trained that way. I don't think they even know why they're saying it, but it's because words have meanings. Words are spells. That's why when you spell words, it's called spelling. And when you write in cursive, you can create curses by writing things and saying things. This is how you create your reality. So when they say, do you understand? It's actually because if you say yes, then they know they've got you because you have submitted to their authority, because you stand under them. So whenever a cop says, might not even know it, but that's what they're trained to do, because the people who run things know how all this stuff works. Another car coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Rango! Hang on, Ben. Yeah. Buenos dias. So we ran into these dogs up here. The ones that my dogs chased the other day, the ones that chased my dogs the first time. And actually the white one's really sweet. And he followed us all the way home yesterday. Oh, hang on, it's lost me again. Hello, I'm here. Hey, I'm right here. I'm here. Look at me. You got me. You got me. Come on. Alright, let's see if I can For some reason it just lost me. Okay. There you go. Come on, Osmo. Do your job, Osmo. You got one job. But yeah, sweetest dog. Followed us all the way home, and my daughter wanted to keep him, of course. I think he might be someone's dog. He lives here with his construction crew. But obviously 5 dogs is enough. But yeah, so you create your own reality. Oh yeah, so when cops go, do you understand? I'll always say to them, do you understand? And you know, if you look at them the right way, they'll get it. Like, because it's that whole thing. Like, there's something about, like, even those vampire movies. The vampire can only come in your house if you invite him. And it's still the same. Like, that is like the law of the universe in some respects. You have to actually invite the enemy into your house. So that could be the government, right? So even when you file taxes and stuff, you are... Is this losing me again or what? Man, it's slow. I gotta figure out why it's so slow. But, let him in. Oh, here's the dog. He's right out of this car. Well, that's a different one. Yeah. It's weird my dogs aren't doing anything with him. It's weird. Good, though. Actually, let's go this way anyway. I want to go this way. Yeah. Don't growl at my dogs. You touch my dogs, you're going to get the drop kick. Alright. He's just growling. He's protecting his area, which is fine. See, he's got his area. We're not allowed to go into it without his permission. All good. But, yeah, so even when you pay taxes and stuff, to an extent you're submitting. You're saying, okay, you guys are allowed to do this. I give you authority to do this. Even though you might not want to, you kind of are. So, you know, so I don't even respond to them. I get calls every now and then from certain tax authorities. I just, whatever. You guys have no authority over me. Bunch of criminals, extortion racket. Yeah, you just don't, you act like they don't even exist. But anyway, I want to talk a bit about justice. This is a big topic, especially for anarchists. How would justice work, you know, in a free market? Obviously, there is no justice at all today. So that's number one. More than half the people in jail in the US are there unjustly. They never hurt anyone. So obviously the government system doesn't work. Or people say, oh, we just got to get it better. Yeah, good luck. It's been going on now. Yeah, it's not going to happen. When you give evil people control, and anyone who wants control is evil by definition, you're going to have a bad time. Hopefully one day people realize that. They realize it in every other facet of their life. If I went up to anyone and said, hey, I got an idea. You're going to pay me half of everything you make, and I'm going to take care of you. Sometimes. Most people are like, get out of here. Now, of course, if I was a mafia guy, they may go, oh, it's the mafia, or whatever. Well, that's what government is. And, you know, most people recognize this being wrong, except for when it's the government that does it. Because government's done a really good job of sending you to government indoctrination camps for 12 years. All the television programming, it's called programming for a reason. All tells you how great the government is. The movies, the president saved us. Okay, there's another car coming. Meadows! Jenny! Jenny! Jenny, don't walk right in front of the truck. Jenny! Jenny, man! Jenny! He walks right in front of it and sits there. Gracias. It's losing me again? Yeah, you got me. There you go. Come on. I'm right here. Alright. Yeah, so we could talk about how bad the government justice system is. It's not even justice, as I just pointed out. But even if you wanted some sort of a justice system for crimes, I'm not sure we need it. Well, look at it today. Most real crimes aren't punished, right? If so, Barack Obama, Donald Trump, they'd all be in jail forever for extorting people, for killing people. So Look at most of the pedophiles. Those are mostly the political people, the cops. You know, that's when you give people this power, they're going to gravitate towards it. And that's just the way it is. So there really is no justice at all today, right? I think almost anyone would admit that if they looked at it for even more than 10 minutes, looked at just what's going on. So let's start there. We have no justice today. So how do we get some sort of justice system? Well, I'm not sure we really necessarily need one. I think karma is pretty massive. And it's kind of interesting too. Well, here's what I would say at this moment in time, and I'm kind of just rambling. I've just been thinking about this last couple of days. I haven't given a ton of thought. I'm not writing a book on it or anything here. But well, there's a few different types of issues, right? One is a dispute. So that's easy. That's some sort of a arbiter. So any contract you ever sign with anyone, hello, Osmo. Any contract you sign with anyone, why do you keep losing me? Hang on. I gotta get this thing fixed or something. Alright. So any kind of dispute, you just go to your arbiter. And actually, I've got some great ideas. Someone's got to start this. There used to be something called Judge.me and it went away for some reason. This would be a huge business. Just you settle disputes. Easy. What kind of company wouldn't pay a certain percentage to have it settled really quickly by really people who have a good track record, which you would, right? Because you'd have like basically your own Yelp. You'd show like, oh yeah, everyone's said, you know, we've decided rightly, you know, almost every time. Or as rightly as can be, because some things get really gray. But that's easy, all right? So that's just disputes. That can be easily handled by the private market, and should be. And anyone who's ever had a dispute with anyone and gone to a government court knows it's a complete waste of time and money. It'll be years and cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, and usually won't even get a decision that's anywhere near close to a good one. So that one's easy. But now when we talk about crimes, right? Now I think there's two situations, and I'm just brainstorming here. There's while the crime's actually happening, and then there's after the crime. So let's say it's rape or something. While it's actually happening, you of course can do whatever you need to do to end it. That's just obvious, right? So that's your typical self-defense, non-aggression principle, but you can defend yourself against aggression. So that's easy, that's simple. How far you take it, that's up to you, and we'll see what society thinks of it, right? If a little girl steps on my property, and I have a sign saying, if you step on my property, I'll shoot you, and she accidentally did for like 1 second, and I shot her, we'll see what everyone in this community does about it. I'll bet I'm going to have a bad time after that. But see, this is the thing, the government always wants to take away people able to take action themselves. This is why am I so low? But this is why the word vigilante, which I'm the dollar vigilante, of course, is so, you know, don't be a vigilante, call the government helpline. They'll be there in just a couple of hours to screw things up and shoot your dog. But, yeah, but that's what's going on. So that's why when you watch videos in the US now, it seems so insane. I show it to people in Mexico all the time. And just what goes on in the US and how like a couple kids get into a fight and all of a sudden everyone be on their cell phones and calling the police, and then the police get there and throw everyone to the ground. And people in Mexico are like, what just happened? Why do people do that there? And I'm like, I don't know, they've been like trained to be slaves. They can't handle anything on their own anymore. They've been taught their entire lives that you don't handle things. Oh, it lost me again, hang on. Hang on, Osmo. Osmo, you suck today. You got me, Osmo? Okay, I think you got me, but now it's got a weird angle. Anyway, better than nothing. But yeah, people are just not taught to handle things for themselves. In a free market, of course, or in a decent world, everyone would handle everything themselves. So some guy would be like beating up a little kid or something. Like the whole town would at least act to stop him, and if they felt like it, do even more to him. Whatever they felt like doing. Whatever they felt was right. Justice actually belongs to us. We decide what we think is right. And then the market can tell us afterwards if that was wrong or not. And that's fine. Hang on. Gotta get this. Why is it? Alright. I think I gotta reset it all. Hang on. Alright. There we go. So obviously, like I said, in the moment, and you know, you see that so often in the US or whatever. Man, this angle sucks. How do I get this fixed? It's alright. People can't even handle things in the moment in the US, right? And everyone's so scared. Like, you'll see someone get hurt in a car accident. In the US, like, again, I'll show people here in Mexico that, and they can't believe it. They're like, why isn't anyone helping? And you'll see everyone on their phones. And it's because they've been scared into thinking if they touch the guy, they could get sued. So no one touch him, we gotta call the government. Gotta call the government people. Yeah, but the car's on fire. He's about to just get burned alive. Yeah, but I could get sued. See how it all distorts everything? And that's the way they want it, because that makes people helpless. Makes people wonder, well, without government, of course, we could never take care of anything. It's like they don't actually do anything. But actually, if they do anything, oh man, this Osmo is sucking today. Hang on. How do you reset this? Osmo. What are you looking for anyway? You were working good yesterday, Osmo. But I really don't know if we really need a justice system. It's kind of interesting too, because well, I think the Bible says two things about it, and I think they're both good things. I think one thing it says is an eye for an eye. So obviously if someone beat you up, you obviously could, if you wanted, beat them up. Like have someone beat them up. However, I would advise against it. I don't think that's the solution to anything. In the moment though, when it is happening, yeah, you should definitely have some self-defense skills, or some private bodyguards, or a gun. And yeah, if someone attacks you, you throw down on them. Absolutely, and that will make it so no one attacks anyone anymore. Very easily, very quickly. That's why there is a lot of crime in places like the US today, is because so many people are helpless, defenseless. And obviously, all the places with the worst crime are places where people have had things like guns taken away from them. So it's just obvious. This is just obvious stuff. But after the fact is the question. And yeah, like eye for an eye or whatever. And that's what a lot of people say about anarchy, right? Like, well, with anarchy, it'd just be like chaos, people just jumping on it. And, you know, it'd be like the Hatfields versus the McCoys forever. It's like, no, it wouldn't. Pretty sure the Hatfields and the McCoys have stopped fighting. They ended it after a while, right? And that was a pretty extreme example of like two families that just wanted to like be at war with each other. Most people don't want to do that. Things are over pretty quick, especially when you got some guns involved, and when you got private security and private security defense sort of teams, like the what's it called, the Dale Brown's private security. Works a million times better than any government police, because they actually have the incentive to help you, and they have the incentive to make sure that everything works out really well for everybody, as best as possible, as non-violently as possible. They have that incentive, and it works great. But the question is, after something has happened, is there a real need for someone to go find them and to sit them down in front of a bunch of people and to judge them and then to do something to them, I'm not so sure of that. Most people who have done something really bad, they pay for it themselves. You can see it. You can see their... Why is this always got me at the bottom? Okay, that's better. Just look at people like Henry Kissinger and all these people. They don't look happy. They're living in hell. Because they've created their own reality, and their reality is this frickin' hell where they're trying to control everything and they can't, and they go nuts just trying to control everything. You know, some people do take advantage of other people, steal and stuff like that. What should be done is people just, at the very least, just let people know who those people are. We have the technology today where they pretty much can't go anywhere in the world, and most people would know what the deal was. Not to mention, if we had a world where a lot of people knew how to defend themselves, if the guy's like a pickpocket or something, like he'd have a few days before he got really hurt, and then that'd be the end of his pickpocketing. Things take care of themselves. And not to mention like the karma. Like your energy, you create your own reality. So if you've been hurting a lot of people and stealing or raping or killing or whatever, that energy actually is always with you, and you always have bad things always gravitating towards you. Your energy does that. So there's this thought like, oh no, we need like this big justice system. No, you don't. And in fact, those justice systems create all the worst sort of things. You take these guys who've maybe they had a bit of a bad upbringing or whatever, didn't feel loved by their father or whatever, never learned how to create value for other people. They ended up in a bit of a life of crime. They ended up beating up some people. Well, what would be the best thing is if someone could realize that and say, hey, let's try to help these guys. But they do the exact opposite. Ah, Osmo, I'm almost done with you, Osmo. Hang on, Osmo. Look at me, Osmo. I don't know what's going on with Osmo today. I should actually read the instruction manual. It's something I only resort to after days or weeks of not being able to figure something out. But yeah, instead they take these guys who've obviously never had any real love in their life, throw them into basically a torture indoctrination camp where they're going to get raped and stuff. Oh yeah, that's going to help them. Oh, and they're also going to just work out every day and get like really physically strong. Yeah, good. Then they're going to come out even angrier. Yeah, great. So this system fixes nothing, this current system. Some people will say, and I've heard this a few times, a few people have been addicted to certain drugs or had a dependency, because I don't like the word addiction, Derek Broze is a good example. He's talked about how he was addicted to meth. And I think he said he was thrown into jail, and that's where he got cleaned up. So, but I'm pretty sure if you ask Derek Broze if he thinks the current government jail system is a good idea, I'm almost positive he'll say no. But a lot of those people will say, well, it got me on the right track because I couldn't get access to those drugs. Yeah, you know, it's possible that it was a good thing for you, but that's a rarity. And Derek, you could just tell by how smart he is, he would have figured it out one way or another without it. But he used that opportunity to get himself right, right? I'm sure he would have gotten himself right otherwise without it. I have no doubts about that. So this whole system, justice system, you know, that's a big question a lot of people have about anarchy, right? How would it all work? I think it'd work awesome. You'd have people having to defend themselves again because there wouldn't be any government there to give them the perception of being safe, which they're no safer with government. In fact, they're getting extorted. Everyone's getting extorted constantly. We're all being robbed constantly, and we're all under the threat of being kidnapped or killed if we don't listen to the government, right? So we just got to get rid of that. then people will say, okay, well, I better get a gun or something. Because, you know, now I don't have the cops, even though the cops were never there to protect them. Jerry sits. Jerry, Ben. And so they start protecting themselves. Then any sort of people who have this idea, like I'm going to hurt people or rob them, will get shot pretty quick. They'll be gone. Be it. It's like over. Like it's done. It's kind of funny because a lot of the sort of the Christian people will be very pro-government, pro-war. They're obviously not real Christians. They like that Gandhi quote. What is this? I like your Christ, but not your Christian so much. And yeah, a lot of them will be very pro-police, like enforce, which, yeah, that's what Jesus would have done, right? He would have started an extortion racket to pay off private thugs to go around and harass, kidnap, torture, and kill people who didn't do things that he didn't like. Or, yeah. Jetty, yeah. Jetty, Ben. Jetty. So, oh yeah, so I think in the Bible it says something about like don't judge others, leave that to God, basically, right? I think that's what it said. If that's the case, I think that's right. Like, who is anyone to judge anyone? So then having this sort of justice system where people are judging. No, let whatever happened happen. That guy will pay in karma. And if you're a real Christian, you believe he'll pay in the afterlife. And I think just to an extent you do. I think it's a little different than what some people think it is. But yeah, you definitely, because I've gone through these sort of psychedelic experiences and stuff where you're kind of like reliving. You have to go through your life and feel the pain you caused and stuff. I think it's something along those lines. So those people have to pay. So it's not up to us to judge them and make them pay. Unless it was, you know, something you were directly involved in and you feel you want to do that, then go ahead and let's see if society thinks I was fine or not. So if a guy beat me up last week in like a pretty, you know, like I was like kind of drunk too or something. He beat me up. And I light his house on fire and kill him and his kids. Well, let's see what the rest of the society thinks about that. I'm pretty sure I wouldn't have a lot of friends after that. If I did, I'd be like, oh, you don't really, you don't mind I'm burning people alive when I get into little street fights sometimes. But yeah, so I really don't think there is much of a need for a justice system as long as we have people who are allowed to protect themselves or to hire people to protect them. And then some people always bring up, what about poor people? Well, that's a good incentive. Jenny, Ben. That's a good incentive. Sorry, the camera stuffed. Not having a good camera day today. That's a good incentive to make some money. But you look at Dale Brown with his threat management in Detroit. He protects the entire community, even if people can't pay. And that's quite normal. Come on, Osmo. Come on. Osmo. You find me? Yeah, you got me. Now come back down. Good, Osmo. Alright. Yeah, so he protects anyone who's in the area. And it makes sense. That's also, if you're a poor person, you want to do one of a few things if you have no money. One is find some way to help other people, and in that way you'll make some money. And if you can't do that, at the very least, hello, Osmo, come on, Osmo. At the very least, have some friends, right? You know, if you have no money and you can't figure out any way to help anyone do anything, which is pretty bad, right? But maybe you're like really crippled or whatever. Maybe you got some major issues. Be really nice to people. And if something crappy happens, like a big guy comes into the block and he's shaking you down, you're going to have lots of people protecting you. Guaranteed. I guarantee it. People will, if they're allowed, right? They won't do it in the US today because land of the free, home of the brave, people are too scared to do anything. For the most part, there is some, obviously. They never get any publicity, of course. Those are the people who stop a guy who's shooting up a mall by shooting him. That'll never get on CNN. But yeah, things will work themselves out fine in a free market. And like I said, like those people, anyone does really anything really bad, I've met so many of them, usually at bars, and they're crying and crying and crying. I did this, how could I have done this to that person? They're like killing themselves worse than anyone could, right? This happens all the time. Now you might say sociopaths won't. All right, well, sociopaths, if we had a world where people could defend themselves, well, first of all, if there was a world without government, then the real sociopaths, people like Henry Kissinger and Donald Trump and Barack Obama and all these people, they'd have no power. Donald Trump, before he became president, wasn't killing anybody. Now he kills people every day. Not him personally, obviously, but he leads an organization that kills people every single day. He's killed more people, I don't even know how many people he's killed already. But he wouldn't be able to without government. So you just got to get rid of government. And then all the real sociopaths will actually have to, they won't be able to go to government. That's where they all are right now. They're all cops and government. And some school teachers. Anyone who, anything. Because they love the non-free market. Because they can't survive as well in the free market. They survive by blackmailing, by extorting, by defrauding, by threatening. They don't know how to create value. And that's what you have to do in a market. So they love anything government related because those are pretty much job for life sort of things. It's all communists, right? They're basically all commies. So, sorry about the camera today. This has been a brutal... I'm gonna have to actually look at the manual. Come on back. Come on. Find me. Osmo. But, Osmo. Why are you so slow, Osmo? I'm gonna have to read the manual. I hate to have to resort to reading the manual for like these complicated devices, but I'm gonna have to because I don't want to ruin another video like this one today. But yeah, in the end, you know, for the Christians out there, like I said, I think there's two things in the Bible about what I talked about today. It's sort of an eye for an eye, and you know, no other human can judge you. I think those are two Bible things. And the governmental system today is not doing that at all. It's not an eye for an eye. It's extortion and kidnapping and like if you want eye for an eye, put like the father of the daughter who got raped in the cage match with the guy who raped him. There you go. And that's, you know, if it just happened or whatever, but or just let God sort it all out. And you know, by God I mean energy of the universe, whatever you want to call it. I know it's there. And it's not up to us to be judging other people. And like I said, the universe, God has a way of making sure those people pay one way or another, so we don't even need to worry about it. So there you go. Just solved government justice and policing systems. We don't need them at all. In fact, they make everything worse, and that's why the world is a big part of the reason why the world today is such a mess. Luckily here in Mexico, not too much government, not too many laws. I can free range walk with my dogs, and that's the way I like it. Yeah, we don't need no leashes. We don't need no laws. We don't need no dog parks, do we? We just go wherever we want. Yeah, that's my Letta. We've been Lucy. We've been Wrangler. That's my boy Bruce.